Hi everyone! Welcome to another episode of Nathan's 3D Factory. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to sculpt a cake. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this selected object, the default cube. Next, we're going to add a cylinder. And I'm going to increase the size on this to 20. And then for the depth, I'm going to increase this so that it's like, we can increase as we go here. I'm just going to keep cranking it up here, okay? All right, there we go. And then I'm going to want to have a precise depth on this. We'll put it at 30, okay? Then what we're going to do is we're going to get into this. So tab into edit mode. And then we're going to take this bottom face by pressing 3 and then doing Shift S, cursor to selected. Alt G. Oh, wait, hold on. Before I do that, though, we're going to set this to origin to 3D cursor. Alt G. Okay? There we go. Then the next thing we're going to do is that we are going to take this and we're going to subdivide it. So we'll do subdivision surface. Now, I don't want that to be like looking like that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do loop cuts at the top and bottom, right? Okay, there we go. All right. Then I'm also going to add some other loop cuts in here. There we go. So then what I'll do is that I'm going to get out of edit mode. I want to shade this as smooth as well, okay? So that'll be one of the first things that I do. Well, and then I'm going to rename this to cake. There we go. Now one of the cool things I can do here is that I can also do a sculpt mode on this. So if we go to add modifier here, we're going to do multi-res. Then I can go into the modifier right here. And then I can say I want to do like a simple subdivision, or I can do a subdivide. If I do this, I actually like it this way versus doing a simple. Then I don't get weird angles and stuff, right? So now I can also go into here, and then I can say, let's go into sculpt mode, and I just want to grab a few places here, okay? Say, okay, so we'll increase it, and I just want to say G to grab. I'm just going to pull a few places where I can just kind of put a little bit of imperfection into this as if it were actually hand cooked, right? And I can also kind of like make a cartoony type of effect. It's a kind of effect that I really like to do. It's just something I've been really enjoying lately, right? I do it a lot in my artwork. So I just kind of like have it sculpted here just a little bit. All right. Say, okay, so that's good right there. And then what we're going to do is that we're going to get out of there, go back into object mode, and we're going to take some of these faces. Oh yes, and the first thing here, you'll notice that when I tabbed into there, it just went straight into this, right? Where it's not sculpted or anything. So what I can say is I can apply this. However, I also know that if I apply that, take a look at that. Got all that stuff going on. And maybe you don't want to do that, right? So, another thing you can do is you can say, well, I don't want to apply that, but I do want to duplicate. Then we can say, all right, so now we're going to duplicate that. Then what we'll do then is we'll just say apply there. That cake right there, we're just going to call it icing. Then I'm actually going to take this and just do all the stuff just down here. So I'm going to do it in face select mode. And we're going to delete that. And then just get everything linked by pressing L. X vertices. Okay? And then what we're left with is this top here where we can do some icing. Okay. And then with the icing, what we can do is we can say, all right, so tap back in. We're just going to do edge select by pressing 2. So then we're going to start extruding these downward. Say, all right, so E, Z. And then we can start making some drips in the icing. And then we can also take a couple of adjacent faces and do the same. Now, right now, they're going to be sticking out, right? We're going to fix that in a moment. But right now, we're going to focus on this. And we can just take random places and then just start extruding them down. So just a few more steps of this just to give you kind of an idea of just how you can sculpt a cake and really make it look cool. Okay, so you just keep doing that around the cake just to give it the effect that you have some icing that's just kind of oozed down. There are other methods that you can use, but this is the one I wanted to show you today. And this is inspired by one of my friends that showed me how to do this. It's really fun. Okay, so now you get kind of out of that. Then you have all the icing kind of just dripping down. And you can do a couple more places as you kind of just examine it. Okay. Anyway, so that gives you another idea of just a little bit of simple icing method here. And then what we can do is we can say, all right, well, now we want to do solidify just to give it some depth. And you just kind of bump it up as you need. And I want to do it on the offset of the positive instead of the negative. Okay, and then you have this so it's kind of wrapping the cake. And then we'll add another modifier here, and that will be the shrink wrap. Now, you can also change the order of operations with this. So, but you can say the target, we want that to be the cake. And the way I want that is I want that to be on top of solidify modifier. Then, look at that. We have it so it's very nicely just wrapping, clinging to the cake right there, right? So, pretty cool right there. And then I can just add some colors to it, just so that we can differentiate between the different stuff. We have let's say a chocolate cake, right? So, let's see. This one we'll just call cake. And this one, we'll use the existing material and we'll call it icing. All right, and then we can just kind of modify our stuff here. So this is the icing, and I'm gonna keep it kind of do like a pink type of an icing, maybe, you know, do something like that. So get that, and then we put it into the viewport display as well. And then this one will make like a chocolate cake, right? And then we'll just take it to a very dark brown. The value will take down a lot. A little more red. Saturate it a little bit there, right? Let's see. A little bit more here, definitely a lot more red. But got that. And then you can just take it so the saturation stays the same and the value goes way down. Okay, I'll copy that, put it into here, and then we have a nice cake right here. And then, what cake would not be would be complete if we didn't have candle on top, right? We'll do another cylinder. And this one we're not going to make so big. We're going to take the radius way down. And we'll take the depth down too, right? And then we'll just do this up at the top. I'm still going to take that radius down. So not C here. Okay, I'll do Z as well. Okay, here we go. Just stick it into the cake. And then I'm going to do a couple things where I'm going to add a little bit of like subdivision to it. And I'm going to sculpt it. Okay? We'll do the same thing where we say like F3. We're going to say multi-res. There we go. Alright, and then let's subdivide it a couple times. So we'll do the same thing there. And I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to add those loop cuts so that we don't have such a weird-looking subdivision, right? There we go. Okay. And then I can take this into the sculpt. Do the same thing I was doing before. So let's go into sculpt mode. And we'll just kind of grab it just to give it a little bit of imperfection here, right? And I'm going to take up the strength a bit so that just have kind of a cartoon look, right? Yeah, right to it. That. Okay. And we can get out of sculpt mode and go back into object mode. We can say, all right, I want to have a candle to this with a color. Just call this one candle. Give it kind of a light yellow color here. I think is what we'll do. We'll take the saturation out, add the value up. Go. There. Got the candle. And so we'll just add a few more. I'm not being too complex on these. But this kind of gives you the basic idea on how you can make this simple cake. You can even kind of rotate these around a little bit just to give it a little variation. And then that just kind of gives you a little idea of just a little bit of random, right? So, this gives you an idea for a very basic cake. So, I hope this gives you some inspiration. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure that you like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. And thank you so much for watching Nathan's 3D Factory. Have a great day, guys.